Hey, what's up, everybody? Just wanted to make this disclaimer real quick before we get into this. Not everything that I say is going to be politically correct, but I don't really give a damn. Um, I can't say that. What's going on, everybody? This is Chris, Small Circle. Just wanted to make this disclaimer real quick before we get started on the podcast. Not everything I say is going to be politically correct. So if I hurt your feelings or if I say something that is offensive to you, I'm sorry that you got your feelings hurt and you need to man up. Nope. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Chris at Small Circle. Just wanted to make this disclaimer real quick before we get started. Everything I say on here is not always going to be politically correct. For that, I apologize in advance. I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings or to offend anyone. With that being said, enjoy the show. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Chris's Small Circle podcast, episode number 15. I have Mr. Hank Vatt with me, sir. How you doing today?
Hey, man, what's going on? Good to see you.
Man, we finally got this thing working, huh?
Yeah, it took a while, but we're here.
For sure. Those that don't know Hank, he runs a local podcast out of Splendora, correct?
Out of Splendora. That's right.
Yeah. And he's been doing it for I know, like I said, at least I know a couple years.
Yeah,
but
it's actually been a little over a year and a half.
Really?
It just seems like it's been 2 years because the elections got moved and stuff.
And then COVID, right?
So,
it seems like, it seemed like the whole COVID thing just kind of
stretched everything
right,
out.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Yeah.
But I said the first thing I heard, I got deep into the podcast whenever COVID happened.
Yeah.
And we couldn't go anywhere and all this stuff and everything like that, whatever. So I was just like, I had watched anything and everything that I could on Netflix and Hulu and stuff that or whatever. So I was like, man, let me see what this Joe Rogan guy is all about, right? So we started watching him and stuff. And then I just went down a rabbit hole, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Same thing happened to me.
Right. I got into Tyson and then, and then just, anybody and everybody has a podcast now, you know what I mean? So, but I had seen, like I said, I'd seen a buddy of mine, whatever that was on it during COVID, and he refused to shut down.
Yeah.
And you had him on the show. And I was like, man, I wonder what podcast he's on. And then I said, I did some research and found out that you were here locally, and then I've watched more, whatever. I saw that you had Rowdy Hayden on. And then the election started happening with Matt Gray and Metz, and then
we've been recently really fortunate, man. I've been lucky.
Yeah, for sure.
I knew a lot of people going in.
Yeah,
and that helped out a bunch. But basically, it's been luck. Having the right people on just helps give you more legitimacy to have more people on.
Yeah.
And so, really, what I've tried to do is kind of up the scale as I've moved forward. So that's been good.
Yeah.
I've been happy with it.
So what made you want to get into the whole podcast
thing? So it's
thing?
interesting because it all started, basically back in 2020, I decided to run for MSED.
Okay.
And there was an open position that was left by Del Martin, good guy.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And never thought I could fill his shoes, but I thought I could give it a whirl anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of interest in MSED. I wanted to know what was going on. So I decided to run, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So when COVID hit, it shut down the campaign.
Right.
So when the campaign kind of got shut down, I said, okay, what am I going to do? So the only thing I think I can do is run a social media campaign. So I started to really work hard on Facebook. I said, well, I need to get a camera,
right?
So people could see my face. And,
sure. Yeah.
I can do it. So
just more than a picture.
Yeah.
Right?
I got a crappy camera. I think it was like $60, just a cheap Panasonic, and set it up. And didn't try to go for any good acoustics or good audio or nothing.
Just
set up, let it fly. And I think in my second or third video, which is probably still out there somewhere, I said, and win or lose, I'm going to do a podcast that provides community information.
Yeah.
Don't even know where that came from. It just came out. But then again, I'd been watching a bunch of Joe Rogan and all that
kind of
stuff like you.
Yeah.
So it just kind of came out,
right.
And then I lost. But in that process, I had already been working on establishing a podcast and putting it together.
Right.
Not that I thought I was going to lose, but I just decided, hey, I'm going to do this. Seems like a good thing to do, and nobody around here is doing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's how it was born. And I met a couple of guys at a place I was working at. I was working on a smart home. My wife and I had an IT company.
Okay.
And so we do a bunch of that kind of stuff. We're working on a smart home. 2 guys were there that had just gotten out of prison. Both of them had spent 20 years or further in the clink. And one guy had written a book. Both of them had gotten their master's degrees. I thought, man, these are the perfect dudes to have on a show.
Yeah.
And there was the first show, And if you go back and look at it, it's called the Texas Prison System on Hank's Think Tank. It is horrible. The video's horrible.
Yeah.
The audio's horrible. The content was great.
Yeah.
But it was fantastic for me. It was the best show I'd ever done to this day.
Right.
And I wouldn't take it down for nothing. And it's because it was the first, and it got me into it,
Yeah.
And as soon as I did that show, and when it took me 2 weeks to edit it, and it was just awful, but I thought, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right on, man.
And that's what I've been doing since.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. So,
That's what, I forgot to mention. It's Hank's Think Tank, right?
Yeah.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. Yeah.
Right.
We're also on Spotify and everywhere else where you can get podcast content.
Yeah.
Because we rip out our audio now, and it's everywhere too.
Right on.
So from Apple and Google all the way up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're everywhere.
Yeah, guys, go check him out on YouTube, Hank's Think Tank. This is very primitive compared to his. I mean, he has the camera set up. He's got the studio behind him. It switches from him to his guest, whatever, when they're talking. I mean, it's totally legit. He's like he's like the Chrysler, and I'm the old Studebaker jalopy.
I still like the 2-shot stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
When I worked at a place in Houston, I was a head of the computer department. We had a whole recording studio down in the basement of this building that the guy owned, and we did video, audio, everything. But this was high-end stuff. The same type of cameras that you see on the news departments that roll around on dollies and stuff. And that was really shooting some good stuff there. What we're doing, is just, that's primitive, both you and I.
Right. Yeah.
But I still like the 2-shot stuff. It's the way to go.
Yeah, man. You're right. I see a lot of podcasts or whatever, they go back and forth and all that stuff and everything. But like I said, I
think sometimes you lose a little bit in that, because you're able to see both people and reactions, and you lose some of those.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, the 2-shots definitely got its flair to it. So
man, I like it for sure. I had that's my thing, because like before I started to do this, I thought to myself, I was like, man, I watched Joe Rogan for a bit, and then I watched Tyson, whatever, and a couple other ones, you know what I'm saying, and of course the originator Howard Stern and all that and everything.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, hearing these celebrities talk and everything, it's cool and all, but I want to hear some, like you're saying, like some ex-cons, or like Rowdy Hayden, local people, you know what I mean, Matt Gray, Judge Metz, what I mean, I want to hear their story. I want to hear what they think and all that stuff like that. So like I was all in, dude. When I found out about yours, I was like, man, dude, this is cool, bro. Like definitely. And I try to keep it local, with all the growth out here and all that stuff and everything.
And we'll be busy for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Because topics go on forever.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And then information is just at our fingertips now, you know what I'm saying? So we can literally talk about anything, and all that stuff. And that's what brings me up to my next thing. I was like, what would you say would be your demographic? I guess whenever you first started it, when you were running, like you were doing a political thing, right? So
when I first started, I wanted to be kind of a multi-topic intellectual type conversation.
Sure.
And I wanted to pattern it after the type of conversations that you see on Joe Rogan.
Right.
He's got scientists on, he's got professors on. Mm-hmm. So that's the route that I originally wanted to take. I wanted to have stimulating intellectual conversations with people who were smarter than me, so I could learn more.
Right. Sure.
I'm one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And, it just so happens that, I met those 2 guys that were in prison. I thought that was great. Both of them had master's degrees. We talked about their whole journey to get there, which I thought was an amazing story.
Yeah.
And I knew that there was a whole lot more content for them to come back to. So eventually I'll have those guys back on again. I've had Johnny Ward back on, I think once or twice since then.
Yeah.
And he's a smart dude. I mean, he's well on his way in life. And I think that whole prison scene is behind him now.
Yeah.
And same for Neil. They're both great guys. I keep up with them. And it's another good thing about podcasting. You meet somebody you develop a relationship with them, and you maintain that. You know, even when the cameras are off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Almost everybody I've had on my show has become my friend.
Yeah.
And I stay in touch with them. It's been great.
Yeah.
You know, but the demographic now, and it's unusual because, you know, guys like us, without even realizing it, we kind of get a little bit of power in the community.
Sure. Right.
You know, and our voices become more than just us asking questions of a guest or trying to drive home a point or something like that.
Yeah.
We have to be thoughtful, guys like us, on what we say on camera and even what we say out in public, because it does make a difference with people who watch.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
for sure. Right.
I think we need to understand that. And I think sometimes when you watch these shows that people do, they miss it. They miss that point completely. And it's an important point, you know?
Yeah.
But my demographic now, and I'd like to think it's more than just guys that are 40 years and up, but that's basically what I think the main focus of the demographic is. When I look at my analytics on YouTube, that's what it points to.
Right.
You know, but I'd really like to get to the point to where I'm talking to families, I'm talking to our community leaders, I'm talking to kids even.
Yeah.
You know, I want to make sure that we provide the kind of content that helps this community solve problems, helps it grow, helps us make wise choices and good decisions. And for some reason, I've become the guy that wants to educate voters. You know, I want to, because there's been a lot of times in my life, I've walked up to the voting booth and looked and went, okay, well, that name looks cool. Click.
That's
name
me.
Looks cool. Click.
That's me.
100%, without knowing anything about it, that's not the way to do it.
Right.
We can't keep electing people that way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, we got to make smart choices. And so really having these guys on both of our shows is the way to go.
Yeah.
You know, it gives them a chance to tell their story, and it gives the consumer a chance to figure out who these people are and see beyond their political BS and see beyond their campaign talk and get an idea of what's behind the eyeballs and what's in there.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's my focus. I mean, that's really what I try to do.
Yeah.
And I don't try to make all that stuff seem obvious on the front end. I just want to try to put out a good show, but at the same time, I'm thoughtful of the questions that I ask people.
Yeah.
And I'm thoughtful of the way that the show gets directed.
Yeah.
You know, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So,
yeah. And to touch on your other point, talking about I think it is, it's up to the person. And that's almost the society today. Like nobody wants to take accountability. Nobody wants to have that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? They have to have they have a responsibility for like the Joe Rogan and, you know, on all these big podcasters or whatever. They somewhat take responsibility. They try not to say stuff. They try not to, you know, and all this and everything like that. But you got, you know, further down the line that they're doing this and they're saying that they're speaking their piece or whatever. They're like, I don't care what anybody thinks, whatever. Don't subscribe or anything like that. You know, like somebody needs to hold that person accountable. You know what I mean? You know, so, you know.
But Joe Rogan does say what needs to be said.
No, 100%. Yeah.
Off.
Right. Yeah.
He'll
100%,
say what needs to be said.
Yeah.
Period.
But he says it kind of in a way like, look, I'm not trying to bash these people over here. This is just the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, like I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but look.
And that in itself has responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. He does it in a way to where he, you know, he accepts the responsibility to like, look, this is just me talking basically. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, they don't do that.
Dude, it freaks me out sometimes.
Dude, insane. And he holds his own with like anybody he talks to.
Yeah.
You know, that was it Neil deGrasse Tyson or whatever. He was just going back and forth with him. I'm like, you know, one of the smartest guys on the planet, and he's just right there with him.
And I'm rewinding, trying to wrap my head
Bro,
around.
that's 100% for sure, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he does hold his own.
Yeah,
and that can be hard to do with some of these shows.
It's got to be.
You know, I mean, I had a guy on that was a professor, that was a physics guy, and we had a good long talk, but there were a couple times I was like, wait a minute, you know, let me figure this out while you're saying it. You know, it's tough. Yeah. So I mean, some of that stuff's pretty tough to keep up with, but I try.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like I don't do the whole politics thing, like, you know, like especially presidential or you know, anything like that, because from the results of the last presidential election. Sure. You know, from that point on, whenever the president now, the current president, whatever, he basically cheated his way into the office. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm out. I'm, whatever. I just try to focus on local elections.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the MSED or like the commissioner, you know what I mean? Something that's like going to mean to me, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah. And that's why voter education is so important. I mean, that's 100%. Why I'm pushing it.
Yeah.
Because, and I've said it before on my show, we can't control what goes on in DC.
Right.
We're pawns. I mean, they don't know us. They don't care about us.
Right.
Each individual vote doesn't matter on that end. But when you take it to the local level,
right.
Well, now we can go to those meetings and we can eyeball the people we voted for.
Yeah.
And we can say, hey, great job, or you're not doing what you said you were going to do.
Right. Exactly.
We can make a difference here.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we got to be educated. But if you take a lot of small communities that start doing that and they start making a difference, all of a sudden you've got voters who are going, wait a minute, before we vote for a president, let's find out what this dude's all about. Let's find out what he's really about.
Yeah.
And how much of it is campaign speak and how much of it is coming from his soul behind his eyes.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, exactly. Like,
you got to get to that.
Right. Like the perfect example, I guess, would be my buddy, Matt Gray. I've known Matt Gray, pretty much, since 7th or 8th grade,
slick
dude,
yeah,
man. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And congratulations to him. He was I think he was my third guest, I think. And he's supposed to be my second, but you know how it is, and he was running at the time. He was like in the middle of it, whatever. And then he just called me up. He's like, man, I got a few hours. I was like, man, come through, and all that, whatever. And so we were talking and stuff like that. But I had told him, that's what I told him. I was like, man, I want them to know you, not the Facebook you, not the, your commission, commissioner page you. Yeah. I want to know you. Like, I want to tell them our stories. How you helped me out whenever I was pressure washing my driveway and you didn't have to, and we hadn't seen each other in over like 10 years, so like, that's the Matt that I want these people to know, so like that. So it's, I think it's stuff like that. It's important things, like that. And that's what I wanted. That's what kind of made me want to do this, because like I said, I just got tired of, hearing celebrities and they're whatever, which is nothing against them, it's whatever, it's entertaining. But I'm like, man, I want to hear somebody local. Like, I want to hear about how you got your business started, or or somebody, Rusty Buckle, how Alan got his barbecue place started, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that.
And everything is born from conversation. Everything if you look around, everything you see at one point or time was an idea somebody thought of, they talked about it with somebody else and brought it together.
Yeah, for sure.
So without conversation, we'd be lost. And I think the country has kind of gone in a direction now to where conversations aren't what they used to be. Because you always have to watch your mouth. You have to watch what you say.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy. If I got to be that guy, I'm not going to play anymore. So I'm going to say what needs to be said.
For sure. Right.
Yeah. And that's the beauty, I think, of conversations. I've had a lot of people on the show that I've disagreed with. Yeah. Just on the show itself. But when we left, nobody was angry or mad. Right. Yeah. And I understood a little bit more about why they feel the way they feel. And hopefully they understood a little bit more about why I feel the way I feel. So, I mean, that's what we need to get back to as a society, is get back to communicating with each other and saying, okay, look, I feel this way about this incident or this topic. Why do you feel the way you do? Maybe it was a different set of circumstances you were brought up with or whatever. Yeah. But if we can communicate, man, we can get back to normal. Yeah. We're a long way from normal. We really are. It sucks.
Yeah, you're not lying.
Scary.
Yeah, you're not lying. That's and you see that all the time on Facebook, whatever, or on any platform, really. You go to make a comment or something's posted, and then you start going through the comments, and then they're going off or whatever.
It's not hard to get in trouble now.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
A little bitty word, that's it.
But it's people, they want to say what they want to say, but they don't want to hear what you have to say.
Right.
And just like you said,
because everybody's right. Nobody's wrong.
Right. But it would be a totally different discussion and a totally different outcome if we sat down face to face and talked about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I guarantee you it would be. But it just takes away that face to face, and it's like you said, we just got to try to get back to it.
Good luck.
I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man.
We got to find the road again. I mean, somehow we got off on this dirt path, man. And
yeah, for sure.
We got to find the road.
Yeah. Well,
but I think it's guys like us that's going to help get us back back there.
I
I
hope
really
so.
do.
Yeah, I really do. I hope so, man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I don't do this to try to make enemies or anything like that. You know, I was like,
Right.
like whenever me and my dad or whatever, you know, we've helped. I wouldn't say helped, but in you know, anytime that Judge Metz wanted our help or anything like that, he would just call my dad or whatever and stuff. And me and him used to DJ. Me and my dad used to DJ.
Yeah.
So we'd MC his, fundraisers and stuff like that or whatever. Right. Well, he had got kind of upset that like I was pushing for Matt Gray.
Yeah.
Right. And I had him on the show, and then James Metz or whatever, he got upset or whatever about that. Whenever I'm like, I didn't say nothing about the guy. I still like the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just think that Matt Gray's a better fit for commissioner. It's my opinion. You know what I mean? I'm allowed to have one and I'm allowed to express it. That's just the way I feel. You know what I mean? And then I even reached out and I was like, look, man, I had Matt Gray on, if you're more than welcome to come sit in this seat or whatever, and either plead your case or just come on and campaign,
right.
like you had both of them on, what I
Yeah.
mean? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? I said that, and then there's nothing. So I was just like, okay, man, well, sorry you feel that way.
And that was a tough call for me too.
Yeah.
And I had them both on within a few days of each other.
Yeah.
And so what I decided to do, I think I had James Metz on first, but I held his video for release. I didn't release it until I released Matt Gray's. And what I did was I asked them both the same identical questions
right.
in the same order and gave both those videos about the same amount of time. I think they're within 30 or 45 seconds of each other on length. And so I wanted to give them both an equal shot. And I let both of them know that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I released both those videos at the same time. So, and I wanted to give the voters that same opportunity as well. I didn't want to make it seem better for Matt Gray or better for James Metz.
Yeah.
I wanted that information to be as close to, the same as they could get so the voters could take a look for themselves and make a decision. And it came out the way it should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and like I said, I think
I like James Metz. I really didn't know him well before the podcast at all.
Right.
But I think he's a nice guy. He seems to be, and anybody who plays guitar has that check box.
It's a check mark, right? Yeah, right. Definitely a plus for sure.
Player,
yeah.
And he's done a lot for Montgomery County. And I think the citizens need to make sure that that's not forgotten.
No, yeah, 100%.
He was our JP for I think 16 years.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good long time.
And he's helped me
dispensing a lot of justice in Montgomery County. So
and I can't forget the fact that he's helped me a lot in that courtroom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't take that away. And I probably should have went your route. You know what I mean? About probably tried a little bit harder to reach out to him and released him at the same time or, and stuff like that or whatever. But I mean, I haven't seen him since. And, he was kind of hard to get a hold of because I tried to talk to him, reach him through. And I even had my dad trying to reach him and all that. And,
he was hard to get a hold of for me too.
Was he?
Yeah, it took a while.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I probably, like I said, Matt's a good friend. He lives just a little ways away, and and he's just like, yeah, man, I'll come through, no problem. Almost as a favor.
That's going to be a great commissioner.
I think so too, man. I think so too.
Looking forward to it because I think he's going to be able to solve a lot of problems. I think he has his pulse on the community, or his finger on the pulse of the community.
Yeah.
And he's going to be one of those guys that's not going to go into the office, get busy, and back off. I think he's going to be out front, and I think he's going to be engaged.
Yeah, no,
and that's a big deal.
Well, he's gonna have to be because he has he has smaller kids, that. So he's always up at Ed Reinhardt, you know what I mean? So he's in the public for sure.
Yeah.
So and if anybody's like me, whatever, and he doesn't do something that he says he was gonna do, I'm gonna catch him and I'm gonna ask him, and I'm gonna call him out, whatever, like that. So I think he'll be at everybody's disposal. And that's what we had talked on. I was like, look, right now, like the current commissioner, he just doesn't really seem like he wants to work with anybody as you see in MSED.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? MSED gives a lot of money to, the ballpark and all that stuff like that, whatever. And that's what I keep on telling my dad and Mr. Wetz when I had them on the show. I was like, I don't think that it's MSED's responsibility to handle that because everything is county owned over there.
Mhm.
So, why are you guys giving them our money whenever they should be getting it from the county, And then my dad and Mr. West was like, look, and then I was like, and then on top of that, the county is getting the praise for it, and then they're like, look, just as long as it gets done, as long as it's for these kids and stuff like that and everything. So
yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, 100%.
Your dad's another guy that's done a lot for this community.
Yeah, definitely. And, for sure, man.
I'm hoping to see a park or something named after him.
I mean, that tickled him pink for sure, because I didn't realize it. Whenever I had him on, him and Mr. West, my dad's been out here for over 50 years.
Oh, yeah. Man, he freaking knows everybody.
Yeah, that's no lie. Yeah. Well, try growing up and doing some dirt out here. You know what I mean? It's like, I couldn't go nowhere without it end up going to my mom and dad. So for sure. But anyway, so getting back to what I wanted to touch base on, you ran for MSED position, right? A year and a half ago, I guess. 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, about 2 years, 2020.
Right, because they do the elections every 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Okay, and then, you didn't win that one, right? So you didn't want to campaign again for this one because for the people that don't know, you ended up doing a write-in, asking people to write in, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was one of those. How many people did you get? You got almost like 100, like 200, right?
A little over 200.
It's
like 300.
Close to 300.
14%.
Yeah, dude. So, I'm not gonna lie, I was one of them. I was like, I got you.
So when it came time for for people to join in and get on the ballot for MSED, I considered it for about 3 minutes. And I said, no, man, I don't want to run.
Right.
I'm really loving doing my podcast. I've created a company called Studio 13,
right,
that owns Hank's Think Tank.
Right.
And I'm really trying to get Studio 13 to be something, and so it's something I want to concentrate on. I just didn't feel like I would have time to dedicate to MSED, especially the kind of time that they need of their board members.
100%, right?
Said, I just don't think I can do it. So instead, what I decided to do, I said, well, I got it, man. I'll podcast all these people that are running.
Yeah.
So as soon as everybody threw their name in the hat, I started making calls. I was like, hey, I want to get you on the show. And then again, my mouth went a little bit faster than my brain. And I said, no, I'm going to do a public forum,
Yeah, right.
And so I decided to hold the forum and ended up getting some sponsors to help me out. It worked out really good. And the forum went great.
Yeah. But
the write-in thing wasn't my idea.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
Oh, wow.
Not even a little bit.
Oh, wow.
So right after the forum, I was getting a lot of phone calls, and really what I was trying to do was promote Studio 13 again.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of people from the community there. People were asking questions. It was good. Well, I had a couple of people call and said, hey, man, we think you'd be great for the MSED board. We're just going to write you in. And I thought it was a joke. I was like, yeah, go ahead. That'd be cool.
Right.
Do it,
Yeah, sure.
Because I don't remember which presidential election it was. It was a couple of years back or a couple of terms back. And I wrote Ted Nugent in.
Yeah.
Just so I could see it on the list.
Sure, right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I thought, well, yeah, it'd be cool. Write me in, go ahead. Well, the next thing I know, I get a phone call, and I don't remember who called me, but somebody did, and told me there was a sign. I'm like, why is there a sign? And so the sign comes about from a guy that I don't even know.
Really?
What's his name? Ty Trout.
Oh, yeah.
Ty Trout,
mm-hmm.
I guess, from what I heard, Ty Trout ordered a sign from Redneck Girl Sign Design. She had been on my show previous.
Okay, yeah. Because they're neighbors.
She was the one who let me know. So she sends me a text with this sign. I'm like, what the heck? Again, still thinking, well, maybe it's just a fluke. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
Well, then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I thought, oh no, I need to handle this. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Because they're wanting to write me in against Steve Carlisle.
Right.
Okay. So here's the kicker on this one. My wife and I own an IT company. One of our contracts is Roman Force PD. He's the chief.
Oh.
He's my boss.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, oh,
yeah, right.
So that complicated matters worse. I was like, okay, so what I did was I put together a Facebook post that just said, hey, if this is something that the community wants, then I will honor it. You know, if I was to get that many votes, I would honor it. But the entire time I was thinking, that's never going to happen. I'm probably going to get 20, 30 votes tops.
Right.
People don't want me in as this. I'm not on the ballot. You know, I mean, if
Yeah.
I was going to run, I would have ran. You know, I ran before. Why wouldn't I run again? But it just turned into this big deal that really left me with some damaged relationships. Fortunately, Steve Carlisle isn't one of those.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. He says that me and him are cool, and I'm hoping that we are. But it left me with some damaged relationships, and it kind of hurt me a little bit, to be honest with you.
Really?
But I think it happens when you become a public figure too. You're probably going to end up with the same kind of deal.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a group of individuals who wanted to write me in. They thought that I'd be good for the board, and I appreciate those votes. I really do. 300 people thought I'd be great for that.
Yeah.
I think that's more than the original votes I got when I ran
on the first 2 years ago.
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because I mean, back then I was a nobody. Nobody knew me. I didn't do well. I was the last name on the ballot.
Right.
And this was the presidential ballot because they had moved the election from May to the general election. You know,
Yeah.
and I mean, there was so much on that ballot. Everybody was just tired by the time they got to the end.
Yeah.
You know, and Ron Willingham beat me out, and thank God he did, man. He's a great board member. He's done really well. He's integrated.
Yeah.
And that election also came out the way it should have.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know how well I would have done had I been elected, just to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I'd be a good board member, if I'd be a good politician.
Yeah.
I think I'm a great podcaster. I think I can get it done.
Yeah.
You know, but as far as being involved in that particular aspect, I sure would hate to let people down. But at the same time, again, I really appreciate the votes, guys. I mean, that was really a blast. And let's just not do that again. You know, and I've even been asked already, are you going to run next term? I'm like, no, man, I'm not.
Right. You're going to focus on, your studio stuff, your podcast,
studio,
and everything like that.
That's really, that's where my heart's at. That's where my mind is. I think I can do better making that connection with the voters and moving things along that way than I can being involved in, something that's, those guys are smarter than I am. I mean, honestly, those board members, they got it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be able to fall in and have you ever had a conversation with Catherine Peterson?
No.
Dude.
No.
Don't try it.
Don't.
I'm telling you right now.
Thank you.
I've had short bursts, and every time I've walked away thinking, man, she's really, really slick.
Yeah.
Fred Wett's another really sharp guy, been around a long time.
Yeah, man, I love Fred, man. Yeah. You can solid dude.
I mean, Leonard Rogers, been on the board forever.
Yeah.
I mean, so how am I supposed to integrate into that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think the election now has come out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's whenever my dad, got on it or whatever. Can't remember now. 8 years ago, I think,
it's been a long, long
whatever.
time.
And both Fred and Leonard, they told him, like, while he was running or whatever, they were like, "Look, man, if you think that you're just gonna come in here, you know what I mean, just start trying to change things away and stuff like that, whatever, right? It's just like anything else. You might as well just wash these 2 years." That's coming up or whatever, you might as well just, chalk those up as a wash because it's, there's a huge learning curve. You know what I mean? You can't just come in here and be like, well, why can't we do this? Whatever.
I've learned a lot about MSIP. There's a lot of different buckets and there's a lot of different stuff going on. The learning curve has got to be astronomical.
Yeah. And that's what was aggravating about me is because a lot of people were getting on Facebook or whatever, and they were like, my street lights out or the infrastructure is too much traffic and stuff, whatever, MSED needs to do something. MSED doesn't handle any of that stuff. You know what I mean? And I was like,
I was one of those people to start out with. I thought, they need to start doing something about the ditches around here.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. So, that's why I had Fred and my dad on. You know what I mean? Because, Fred, he's been around since the beginning. You know what I mean? Whatever, he's been on and off the board, but I mean, he's been around. He was there when it first got started.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from him that day, just on that podcast that I did with him, because he laid it all out, you know what I mean? Whatever. And then, my dad, chimed in on the most recent things that they've done and all stuff like that, and all that.
Yeah. And I know your dad's been heavily involved in the community even before.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Right. Whether it's, baseball, I played baseball or whatever. My sister, she played softball, and then, we didn't do animals or anything like that, but he was real involved with like the FFA and, livestock show.
Yeah. When I had him on the show, I could see it. You could tell.
Yeah.
He meant what he was saying.
Yeah. He wore a lot of hats, you know what I mean? I mean, you know what I mean? That's good. That's, and I keep telling him all the time, I'm like, man, that's got to take a lot of, a lot of stones to just pick up, you know what I mean? From, Houston, well, he came from Aransas Pass, but then moved to Houston. And then just one day or one weekend or something like that, I'm surprised he didn't tell the story that his boss or whatever had like an acre or something like that or whatever out here in New Caney. And it was off of Russell Drive off 1485. It was a dirt road. You know what I mean? A little farmhouse or whatever, and then like a barn that was right next to it, you know what I mean? Like that. And my dad just bought it. Didn't even tell my mom or nothing, man. and they moved out here or whatever. And they're like, this is where we're going to live now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Away from everything. You know what I mean? Because I mean, there was hardly anything out here that way.
Yeah, we did the same thing. Just moved out. Yeah. Moved out off Tram Road, and I had never been out to the country. I thought potatoes grew on trees.
Bro, I did. Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is completely different. I thought it was going to be quiet. And when we first moved out, it was summertime, and I opened the front door and all the crickets and the frogs and everything. I was like, damn, this is way louder than where I was coming from.
Where are you originally from?
Spring Branch.
Okay. All right.
So, it was a rough neighborhood.
Yeah, for sure.
So it got bad out there. And so we decided to run.
Just come out this way.
Come out this way.
Yeah. How long you been out here?
94. Right after the flood of 94 is when we came out here.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I was telling my dad and Mr. Wetz, I remember being in elementary school about probably mid 80s. Like, a lot of people were moving to Houston, like Pasadena area and stuff like that when they started building the plants, early 80s and stuff like that or whatever. But then it started to migrate out here, you know what I mean? About mid 80s, you know what I mean? Like that, they started making it out there, the Porter, New Caney area and stuff and all that, whatever, Kingwood and all that. And then Splendora as well out there. So, man, talking about, you're going to have to move again too, huh?
I hope not.
It's getting crazy out there.
It is.
It's not near as bad as Spring Branch, but I'm talking about like traffic wise and all that stuff like that, man.
Our traffic is debunked out there.
Dude, it's insane. Yeah, man. I went there. I have a motorcycle, and we used to ride through Tram Road. You know what I mean? Whenever those trees and all that stuff and everything and all that, man, it ain't like that anymore.
Yeah, I remember, and I was telling my wife this the other day. I said, years ago, a busy day was 5 cars going down Tram Road.
Yeah.
Now it's 5 cars every 3 minutes.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's crazy.
It's insane, man. Yeah. It's crazy out there. Let's see here. Here we go. Let's see. What else we got? You don't do the podcast by yourself, right? You do, but you have a guest sometimes.
Yeah, I have a guest. Yeah, a guest host, Mark Hogan.
Okay.
Me and him grew up together.
Okay.
And so when I lived in Spring Branch, I met him in high school, and we hung out, we partied together, got in trouble together, and we just kind of never lost touch with each other. And started doing the podcast.
Yeah.
And he had a guy that he wanted to come on the show that was a Vietnam veteran. So I told Mark, I said, yeah, I'd love to have this guy on the show. And so I think it was the day or two before I was scheduled to have the guy come on. And he was traveling a good distance. We were putting him up in a hotel and the whole deal. And I told Mark, I said, well, you're going to guest host, right? He was like, what? I said, yeah. I said, come on, dude, it'll be great.
Yeah.
And so he sat in. I think he's done like 20 or 25 different shows with me.
Yeah.
And he's a sharp dude.
Yeah.
I like him. I mean, I've always liked him. I've always thought that he complimented me.
I'm gonna say he's a good addition, man. You guys bounce well off of each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I've had a couple of other people too. I've had Chevy Hensley has been a guest host. I've had Alex Brow. I've had David Mullane a couple times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, David Mullane's been on a couple times. He's been good.
Yeah, David Mullane, man. So, that's an old name.
David's a sharp dude too, man.
Yeah. His dad George is my.
I love George.
Is my sister's godfather.
Really?
Yeah. And that the person I was talking about, my dad's boss, whatever. My dad bought the property where my dad's living at now.
Yeah.
He bought it from George Mullane.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Small world, small circle.
Yeah, small circle. Exactly, man.
Man.
Exactly. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Man, David and Liz, I like Liz too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're solid people.
And see, I worked for Liz for a long time when she was a city administrator there at Roman Forest.
Oh, really?
I know her real well.
Yeah. For sure.
Don't ever if you underestimate her, man, you're gonna walk away with a black eye.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I did. I apologize to you, Liz. I really did, because I thought it was, if anybody was gonna give my dad money or run for their money, I thought it was gonna be that Gisela lady.
Gisela?
You know what I mean? Because she had a lot of backing. And she had all of Oakhurst, you know what I mean? Pretty much, pushing her. Yeah. So I thought if anybody was gonna give my dad a run for his money, I thought it was gonna be her. And then I was just totally shocked whenever Liz came out. And I never got to I told her at the last MSED meeting, congratulations, but we're in passing. But I say it again, Liz, congratulations. If anybody was gonna get it, I'm glad it was you. But
when I heard that Liz had thrown her name in the hat, I was surprised, because she had just retired from the city of Roman Forest after putting it in for 9 years. And I was like, wow. And then I thought to myself, she's going to be really hard to beat. Don't care who you are.
Right.
She's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
And because I know how she is, when she digs her heels into something, it's done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
So, and she's a formidable opponent.
Yeah.
And not only that, but I think she'll really be good for the board, because she's slick, man. She's definitely one of those people. Put her in a room with most people, and she's going to be the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
So she's just that way.
For sure.
And she knows how to think outside the box. She knows how to learn stuff really quick.
Yeah.
And I just wish that if she would have ran for a different position, your dad and her could have been on the board at the same time. That would have been great.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I wish it would have worked out that way. I'm sorry that it didn't.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what my dad. I had to talk to my dad for a little bit, because he was like, he's like, man, because he's known David and Liz, since 30, 40 years. Yeah, right. All that. And he's like, man, I just can't believe that they do. I'm like, Dad, man, you can't bring feelings into this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is politics. This is what you signed up for, man. This is the game that you're playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't be upset with her. You can't be mad at her for doing this. You know what I mean?
And I talked to her about it. And I mean, the first thing she said was, well, I'm not running against Martin.
Right.
I'm running for the position.
Exactly.
And that's the way she looks at
and
stuff.
You got to kind of think of it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's insane.
Yeah, that's the way she looks at it. And you can't really argue with that.
Right.
Okay,
so all right. So the studio, was it Studio 1-3?
Studio 1-3.
Okay, Studio 1-3. Yeah. That's like your LLC, your umbrella.
Yeah, it
company,
is. And what I'm wanting to do, because I'm in a small portable building right now that's on the property. Not real big, but I'm well equipped. I've got some good equipment. I've got some good knowledge. I'm working on an audio engineering degree as well. So I should have that by probably December, about halfway into it. But what I'm wanting to do is build a new studio and have a full-blown audio video recording studio. And I want it to be a hybrid studio as well. So what I want to be able to do is record either on the music side, record either an analog and send it to tape, or record the analog, move it to digital, and then make it a digital recording, or record straight into a DAW anyway.
Right.
So I want it to be full blown in that I can receive a whole band and we can track things out, or we can record live, do whatever you want to do on the music side. On the video side, I want to be able to mock up sets. So like if Matt Gray or somebody else decides they want to do a show, kind of like a 2-shot thing like we got going on here.
Right.
Some sort of podcast or some sort of informational show.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able for them to come in, we mock that set up and create a set. So you can't really tell that they're in Studio 1-3. They're just in their own set. They run their own show. We handle the editing. We handle the YouTube piece or the media piece, or even television and radio piece if they want to go that route.
Okay.
So that's really where I'd like to head. And then also I want to do a lot of public information stuff for companies, handle their social media components, and just handle that particular aspect of their business, which a lot of businesses attempt to do, but they don't do a great job at it.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
And so that's where I think my talents lie, along with Mark Hogan. He's real good at that kind of stuff too.
Okay.
And so we can handle that PIO piece. We can handle the music piece and put it all together. And then again, there's not a good studio, unfortunately, in East County. There's just not.
Right.
There's a couple of smaller ones that do great jobs and they're good at their niche markets, but I want to attract the larger bands and the higher end people and try to get them to come in and do their recordings there. And then we can do the mixing, mastering, and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah. So yeah, whatever happens.
Cool, man.
But I've got a plan. We own the land. And so I'm working on funding, try to get the thing done.
Right. And that's always seems to be the biggest obstacle, right?
Yeah, it's a big obstacle. I'm thinking that it's going to come together soon though. Yeah. And I think it'll be a great thing. And the other thing that I'm really considering too is I want to make this somehow available to the community. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking about going to the schools and saying, hey, why don't we take, kids that are interested in recording or interested in media in one way or another and offer them to come in, and just hang out with us and learn. Yeah. For sure, be runners or whatever. Yeah. And start out somewhere in the studio. And I want to extend it somehow. And maybe that's not quite it, but you know where I'm coming from.
No, yeah, 100%.
So I want to extend it somehow to the community. Instead of just trying to make money off everybody, I want to give something back.
Right. And that's important for sure. And kind of like a high-end AV department.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm sure, shout out to the schools that they do the best that they can with what they're working with. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Up at the stadiums and stuff, whatever, and they put stuff on the Jumbotron with the music and stuff like that. But that's awesome. I'm pretty sure it's very low level equipment. You know what I mean? So
they do pretty good. Yeah. But anybody who would like to learn how to mix or learn how to master or just learn how to record, because there's, as there's a lot to the dynamics of microphones,
right? 100%,
and video and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so maybe we could come in and help those guys in that end if they wanted to get that little extra knowledge to take with them wherever they want to go.
Right.
And so that'd be something I'd be willing to do on a regular basis. That'd be awesome.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Cause I mean, there's all kinds of things to it. You got the hardware side, like you were saying, the microphones, the mixers and stuff like that. And you have the software side, and not only that, you have to mix this stuff as well. You know what I mean? As well as I do, when, the guy's playing the guitar or something like that or whatever. And,
anybody can track, but if you're not mixing it right, it sounds like shit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, man. So yeah, definitely for sure. Yeah. So you're a music man as well?
Yeah.
I mean, I see guitars in the background and stuff like that.
Since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's weird because my guitar journey has been really unusual. When I was a kid, my dad was a welder and he's also from Holland. And so being an immigrant, he never really made the same money that American guys made.
Sure, right.
And I'm not saying we were discriminated against, just the way it was.
Right. Yeah.
So we were brought up not really in poverty, but on the lower spectrum, the economic spectrum, couldn't afford a lot. But all my friends had guitars. But I'm a left-handed guy.
Oh.
All my friends are right-handed, so I learned to play right-handed.
Okay. Yeah.
So from the time I was about 15 until I was 25 or 29. No, I was about 30. Yeah. From the time I was 15 till the time I was 30, I was a right-handed guitar player.
Yeah.
Even though I was left-handed.
Right.
Well, I also became a ham radio operator, and I was putting an antenna up on a 2-story building. Icy, and I slid off that building, and when I landed on concrete and I shattered my left elbow.
Oh man.
So I can't supinate the way that I used to, which is turn your hand. My grip was gone. I couldn't play guitar anymore because I mean, you're using your left hand to fret.
Right.
So what did I do? Bought me a left-handed guitar. Started playing left.
Oh wow.
And so now I can play left and right. And so I basically play left more than right because it's more comfortable and I don't have any pain and stuff like that.
Right.
But the guitar journey has just been odd, man.
That is.
And sometimes I can still play better right because it was my original method of learning than left, but I can definitely do both. And I'm not great by any means. As a matter of fact, every time I pick up a guitar, it usually starts crying. It's like, no, man, please don't, you know, but I can, on a good day, I can knock it out pretty well.
That's cool, man. Are you, have you been in like any kind of bands or anything like that?
Had a small band for a short period of time called Triple Bypass.
Oh,
because
that's
it was
awesome.
a bunch of old guys.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
but
cool.
then we had a fourth player come in, so we called it Quadruple Bypass.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all got drunk and just blew it off. So I just ended up playing, solo. And a lot of the things that I'll do is if I come up with a riff at night, I'll record it
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll double track it, start to add a little bit over the top,
Right.
Add a little bit of drums and stuff to it. It's just stuff for me, but it's given me the ability to learn to record, and try it in different ways, record from a distance, record up close, record with some background noise, record with no noise, record outside. So I've kind of done it all. And then that, along with my TV time that I had when I was at that one company that had the big studio in the basement, it's given me a pretty good seed of knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a whole lot better once the studio comes together and I learn the room and I'm able to, do a little bit more. So yeah, even, if kids have bands and they want to come in and learn how to record and learn how to do session time and stuff, man, I'd love to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, man, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I might take you up on that, man, because I know a lot of kids, because I got a junior and a senior and they have friends and stuff, and all that and everything. And I ask them, I get curious. I ask them, how, what their interests are and stuff like that, and some of them don't. My son, he's both my kids, whatever, they're both athletic. Right. But my oldest one, the one that's in LA, he's going there to be an actor. He's going to film school.
Cool.
That's in acting. And he played,
tough.
He played the guitar for a couple of years and he just kind of just kind of went away. But that was more his lane. Right. And I think it's important for these kids to have options other than, just like, look, it's hunting or sports, whatever, you know what I mean? So like, I have a buddy of mine that he owns a boxing gym, you know what I mean? So like, I send kids over there that like, I mean, they're not quite at, they got cut from the basketball team or they got cut from the, baseball team, but they're, somewhat athletic and they still want to stay active. I'm like, okay, well, look, once you go over there and talk to my buddy or whatever, and, give the punching bag a shot and see what you think about that, or, or something like that. Or I talked to my buddy, Lonnie Vickery or whatever, and he owns a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, and I'll send him over there. You know what I mean? But like, look, cool, man, just, try this,
expands their horizons,
right. Yeah,
man.
for sure. It's not all about, sports or, this or that or whatever. There's all kinds of stuff for these kids and stuff to get, keep them off the street, keep them busy, and stuff like that. Stuff that I wish I had, when I was younger. It probably would have kept me out of a lot of trouble, if I had some stuff like that, so I got you. But it's definitely cool, man. Well, I really like what you're doing, man. You know what I mean? Like I was telling you before, like I wanted to do a podcast, but like I was just like, yeah, man, I'm gonna do a podcast. I talk to my buddies or whatever, and like, yeah, man, we should do one, blah blah. Well, you know how it is, sitting around drinking and all that, whatever, like, yeah, bro. Then like a couple days go by or whatever, or a week goes by or a month goes by, and be like, man, bro, I'm really gonna do a podcast, bro. We really need, yeah, man, it's like a vicious cycle, And then finally this year or whatever, it is like kind of one of my New Year's resolutions. I was like, you know what, man, I'm tired of sitting on the couch. I'm tired of watching TV and stuff. If I catch myself doing something like that, I'm going to get up and go be productive, do something and all that. And I just think that, this is like the perfect way to keep me busy, So,
and what I found with it, even a bad show is a great show. Yeah, no,
100%.
I mean, I don't think I've ever walked out of a show thinking, man, that just sucked. And I don't even want to put it up.
Right.
It just hadn't happened. I've been lucky.
Yeah.
So hoping cool. It'll keep moving in that direction.
Right on.
So, but I don't see myself quitting the show probably ever.
Yeah, man. That's cool that you found your calling.
It was kind of late in life.
Right. Yeah.
I wish it would have been earlier.
Yeah, for sure.
That would have been nice, man.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how many more years I've got to be able to do it. Before I start losing my memory or whatever.
Right.
But now I've learned so much, man.
Yeah.
And just that connection with people that you get by having conversation. I mean, the best times of my life have been conversations that I've had with people.
For sure.
And so bringing that to somebody else to me is a gift.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you can give that to somebody else, then that's pretty major.
Yeah.
You know, maybe somebody's sick at home and they're just on the couch and, you know, and they get to watch this and get something out of it.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I know these guys. They're local.
Right. That's
you know?
right. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so that's the thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Man.
So,
It's cool to do that. That's us running it by my wife. You know, talking about them. I think I'm gonna do a podcast. She's like, man, you're perfect because you're Zapata that runs deep in this community.
there you go.
And all that and everything. You and your dad know a lot of people and stuff, and it's kind of give East County a voice almost. You know what I mean? And then me and you are kind of the same way, where we can carry a conversation. We can, we ask intriguing questions and stuff, and and all that. So she's like, yeah, you'd be perfect at it.
The community needs us too. So
for sure.
I'm glad you're doing it too, man.
It's awesome. Man. Dude. And that's cool. And for sure. And I really think that that we can do something. You know what I mean? Like I said, people were like, you need to do this and all that, whatever. And I'm just like, man, look, you can come on and you can do that. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm not going to be the voice for you, but I'll give you a voice if you need one. Right. Yeah. So, but that's cool, man. At the end of these things, I try to, I got like a little segment or whatever, like some podcasters do or whatever. And I just thought of another one actually when we're talking about guitars and stuff like that. So we'll do two top threes. Okay. So my first top three is top three podcasters that you've listened to in the past and like your favorites or whatever that you've listened to. So
it'd have to be Joe Rogan
for sure, because
I consider him to be the original, even though there was shows before him.
Right.
He's the guy that just did it for nothing forever.
Right.
Before it finally turned into something for him.
Yeah.
And he's also the guy that came up with a lot of the things that we consider to be the standard podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe Rogan's in there. Plus he's just smart.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson be my second.
Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason why Jordan Peterson's in there is because he's got to be the sharpest dude I think I've ever listened to in my life. I mean, he's got a wild vocabulary.
Yeah.
You need a dictionary to listen to the dude.
Oh, wow.
You really do. He's really good. He's he's informative. He's got balls. That's another thing that I like about Joe Rogan. He's got balls. He says what needs to be said.
100%.
Yeah. Jordan Peterson's the same way. So I put him in. And then my third, believe it or not, would have to be Russell Brand.
Yeah, man.
And the reason why I like Russell is because he's new.
Yeah.
Even though he's been a comedian for a long time, and he's done a bunch of different stuff. His podcast is way different because it's just him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a staff.
Yeah.
And he's going over news stuff and reading from a lot of the different news articles that he picks up. But his style's crazy. And he's gone from, I think he's been out now a little over a year. 5,600,000 subscribers.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Boom.
Right.
It's because of the way he puts it out there. He's another guy that's gutsy, says what needs to be said, but he stays right in the middle too. I can't finger whether he's a Democrat or Republican.
Right. Yeah.
I really don't know. And maybe he's neither.
Toes,
yeah, because he gives a good argument for both a lot of times.
Right. And even though he portrays, I mean, cut you off, even though he portrays like a dumbass or whatever in like the movies that he plays and stuff and all that, whatever, I've seen his stand-up. He's very intellectual, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's using like vocabulary and words and stuff like that he shouldn't be using, bro. I'm like, man, dude, what are you doing?
Heroin addict.
Yeah. I'm like, man. Yeah, dude.
You never know where they're going to come from.
Yeah. Right.
So it'd be Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, and Russell Brand be the top three.
Cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. My next top three, we're talking about music and guitar and stuff like that or whatever. Do you have the top three guitarists?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I figured you did. Okay.
Joe Bonamassa would be the first one.
Yeah.
Reason why is because he's technically perfect.
Right.
And if you ever think about an actual virtuoso, a guy who just gets it, Joe Bonamassa. I don't know if you know any history about him, but his dad owned a guitar shop. Joe's a kid, 4 years old, and his dad gives him probably a crappy guitar and said, "Here, figure it out." You know? And so by the time Joe was 7, he opened for BB King.
Oh wow!
7.
Dang.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he did have some formal education in music and stuff like that, but he's just a virtuoso. He's just amazing. And in all the videos I've watched, which have been hundreds, maybe even thousands, and all the songs that he's written and all the songs that he's done, I've never seen him make one material error that could be picked up.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
that you said, wow, I hit a note wrong, or missed a string, or
Something.
you know, muffed something out that
Mhm.
wasn't supposed to be muffed out. And I mean, and he can do it all. He does slide. I mean, you name it, acoustic, electric, all of it.
Right.
He's just really, and he can sing.
Yeah.
Damn, he's just really good. So second would be Warren Haynes.
Yeah.
You know, Warren Haynes is another, you know, he came out of the Allman Brothers band originally.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And Warren is another just amazing freaking guitarist. He's just good.
Yeah.
You know. And then I guess third would have to be, man, and third's tough because I put Jimi Hendrix and Jeff Beck in the same,
For sure.
in the same league.
Right. Yeah.
But if you had to elevate one or the two, it would have to be Hendrix.
Because he's left.
He's a left-handed dude.
Right. Yeah.
Played his guitar, played a right-handed guitar.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You know, so I mean, and he doesn't have any formal musical education.
Yeah. Right.
So I mean, Hendrix just pulled it out of his ass. He
Pretty
really
much.
did.
Yeah.
And he was amazing. Then again, you know, 9-inch fingers. I mean, the dude had really big hands.
Yeah.
So he could play. I mean, and oh my God.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and back in the 60s when we didn't have any real technology, he was putting stuff together.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
So, I mean, he was good.
Yeah. I'm way too young for that, but I've seen like documentaries and stuff like that on him and stuff like that. Whatever. It's just man. That,
awesome.
Talk about another intellectual person. Like he was like, you know, but intellectual on a somewhat another level. You know what I mean? Not necessarily like book smart or whatever, but man, it just the way he was talking, it was just, you know, I don't know, it might have been the acid that he was on.
He
too,
was
you know?
worldly. Well, he was worldly. Is what it
Right
was.
there it is. That's perfect.
He understood.
Boom. Yeah.
He understood the concept of a world society as opposed to individual societies that interact with each other.
Yeah.
He kind of saw it as a more global thing.
Right.
And I think that's what gave him the ability to, because musicians expose their soul different than other people do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you talk to people, sometimes you'll get to see a piece of their soul come out.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
But when you see a musician play and you hear them sing, that's their soul coming out, period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially ones that can do it like those guys that I mentioned before and thousands of others.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
yeah.
And so when you get a chance to capture that from someone, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another reason for Studio 13 is because I want to be there in the control room when those guys are playing and I can see it. I can hear it. I can feel it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, just to miss that would suck.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Like, whoa, like, what just happened? Like, what did I just capture?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is awesome. This is great stuff. Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. As I'm fiddling around with this other segment that I got going on, and I hope you don't mind me going
go
through
ahead. I
it.
want to hear
Right,
about
okay.
it. Yeah.
It's called One Word.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm gonna say either a word or a phrase, and then you tell me in one word, like the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Okay. You know, and it's not like, you know, right off the bat, whatever. You can take a minute to think about it or whatever. But, okay. So I'm gonna go one word. Okay. Podcast.
First word that comes to my mind is entertainment.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, entertainment for sure. Yeah, it's a bit, especially right now. It's a big entertainment right now for sure. I mean, see, like I said, everybody's doing a podcast now, you know, so they're all out there.
What I like about podcasting and what I see it as being different than TV is when you watch TV, everything's scripted, you know, and these guys have learned their lines. There's certain types of lighting. They're making something appear that doesn't exist.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like when you're watching a show and you get into it, you're so into it a lot of times that you're there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's because they're doing a good job.
Right.
But at the end of it, sometimes I walk away feeling like I kind of got ripped off a little bit because I know that it wasn't real and I know that it didn't exist.
Yeah.
But with a show like this, everything we just did, nothing was scripted. I mean, you had a couple questions, but nothing was scripted. And everything we did was real. It was 100%. It was authentic.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when somebody invests their time to watch that, when they walk away, that's pure entertainment. That's not false entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, just like music's pure entertainment.
Sure. Yeah.
Even if a mix has been done to the point to where when you hear it live, it doesn't sound nothing like what you heard in the mix.
Right.
It's still pure entertainment because it's still those same notes, same melodies, same rhythms that the original artist put forth to make that beautiful piece of music.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I see podcasting as just pure entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just the ability to learn something, see something, feel something, and just capture it.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, not only that, but make people want to do it as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, because it's getting popular. A lot of people are coming out, and it's good.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Okay. Here goes another one. All right. My second word was Texas.
Texas, home.
Home, right? Yeah, that's it. I kind of figured you were gonna say that. Yeah.
Can't see anywhere else but Texas.
Right.
You know.
The third one, it's EMC. I know they kind of hit same.
Yeah. Man, I hate to say love because it just sounds cheesy as shit. You know.
Right, yeah, sure.
But I've really grown to love East Montgomery County.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And it's weird because like before I started the podcast, I wasn't really integrated into the community much at all.
Right.
I knew some people, we had good clients, and I had met some people through that. But by doing the show and by running for MSED and all that, I really got integrated in the community and I fell in love with East County.
Yeah.
And so I think when things happen here that are negative, it affects guys like us different than it does people who aren't really integrated into the community.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, for sure. And you've been here long enough to whatever for you can call this, you know, you'd love it. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, you know, so
I mean,
you've been here since the 90s. I mean, it's
been a good long time.
You know, it's like a marriage almost.
Yeah.
You know
Some people still call me the new neighbors though. You know, people that have been 100%. Out here their whole lives.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, for sure. You're running into that. Okay. Next word is music.
Music, soul. Yeah, that's it.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And then the last one that I just got 5. The last one is this a phrase or a couple words, whatever. Hank's think tank.
Fear.
Fear?
Yeah.
Wow. Explain.
You know, I mean, I want it to work really bad.
Right.
You know, and I mean, we've done well. The channel's grown. I've got a lot of subscribers, not as many as I want.
Right.
You know, but I fear that I might run out of topics. I fear that I may not get good guests. I fear that I may have a dry spell. That dry spell would be extended and everybody will fall off.
Yeah.
You know, I fear that YouTube would change and I wouldn't be able to have that entry anymore. Because, you know, right now we have no barrier to entry. We can hang whatever we want.
Right.
You know, so I mean, I think there's a lot of fear that goes with doing something like this.
Yeah.
You know, and then I want to do it right. I really, really want to do it right. That's why when that whole write-in thing came up, I thought, oh man, people are going to get the wrong idea about this.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing that freaked me out about it. I didn't want people to think that it was something I came up with.
Yeah.
Because think about it from this angle. You know, the dude podcasts everybody, so he knows everybody's platform. Then he comes out and says, write me in. You know, I mean, oh man, I thought, wow, how sleazy would that be?
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I was like,
yeah, right.
And I got paranoid pretty quick, but I didn't really know quite how to handle it. And I didn't want to go against the people who were supporting the thing. You know what I mean? Because like they're my subscribers too. And so I was like, oh man. And so I decided basically to stay neutral. I did that one post on Facebook, said, if this is what the community wants,
sure,
I'll accept it. But other than that,
right.
And I just tried to let it be what it was.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm hoping it won't happen again. I don't want to be the judge. I don't want to be the commissioner.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a board member for MSED.
That's
That's not me, man. I'm more of just a friend guy that
for sure. Yeah. A voice.
Yeah. Voice. Yeah.
Definitely for sure.
That's it.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah. Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on the show, man.
I appreciate you having me on.
I really do, man. That's like I said, I've asked around, which I always do before I have for people on the show, you know what I mean, friends and stuff like that and everything. They're like, nah, man, Hank's a solid dude, man. You really need to get to talk to him or whatever. Or I tell him that, hey man, I'm starting a podcast and all that. You need to come on or whatever and stuff. He's like, man, you heard of Hank Vat? I'm like, yeah, man, Hank's think tank. Yeah, man, yeah, dude, yeah, he's doing great things over there. Yeah, man, yeah, dude, yeah, that's awesome, man. You guys need to get together. And then I saw you at the polls on election day, and then because I meant to go to the forum, but my kid had a basketball game, so I missed it. And then I seen you at the poll or whatever, so we exchanged information and stuff like that, whatever. And they were right. I try not to have people on that I don't like, that I don't get a good vibe from, or that I ask around or whatever and they don't have not good things to say. You know what I'm saying? So I've definitely done my due diligence for sure, because I wouldn't invite you here, whatever, if I had heard anything, because I consider people that are on this show, part of my small circle. Yeah. You know what absolutely. I mean? And that's that was the whole premise, I guess, behind it, is that like I have my small circle, and which I'm sure you have your small circle, and all that. So, and your small circle might have different, professions or different something like that, whatever, and than mine. And I'd be like, hey, Hank, you got somebody that does electrical work? Yeah, man, I sure do, man. My brother-in-law does, or whatever, my uncle, whatever. Okay, cool, man. If you refer him or or vet him or whatever, then I'd say less. Right. Yeah, it's good to go. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just stuff like that. Days. Yeah, for sure. And it was funny because my second, he does roofing, right? And we're on here and stuff like that. And this is a guy that I've went to high school with, and we graduated. He's a firefighter, part-time firefighter, and he does roofing on the side and all that. And he's promoting his roofing company like that, whatever. And then, man, right as I was like announcing that he was going to come on the show, I had another buddy of mine that we had went to school, that we knew each other, right? We went to school, and he was like, hey man, what's Calvin's number? And I was like, oh yeah, man, I got it. And I sent it to him, whatever. He's like, yeah, I need a roof and all that stuff like that. So like what my intentions were for the show was that it happened. It came full circle, like so cool. Fast, you know what I mean? So, but it's like you though, like you had mentioned or whatever, that fear, you know what I mean? You got dry spell. I went through a dry spell because I was trying to drop one every week, which was my expectations were really high. You know what I mean? But I had so many people that are like, hey man, sign me up. I all that, whatever. So I went really good for probably about 6 weeks, almost 2 months. And then it just kind of started to die down, and all this, whatever. And I hit a dry spell, just this, well, it's not only their fault, but it's my fault as well, because I get busy in your life, right? With kids and stuff, like and basketball games here. Right? Yeah. So this kind of comes second, right? So but yeah, man, I love what you're doing. You have the full support of the small circle and the small circle family, what I mean? If you got anything you need to, I was like, hey man, I need a guest or somebody or whatever, or hey, you had so-and-so on your podcast, you think you'd want to come out and talk with me or something like that? Yeah, sure, man, no problem, dude. Let me, give you information and stuff like that. Yeah, and I plan on having you on the show too. Man, yeah, dude, that'd be awesome, man. That would really be cool, man. Because that's what I told my dad whenever you interviewed my dad, I was like, man, see if I can come too. See if I can come on there too, man. Because I've been wanting to do one. You know what I mean? But I mean, I don't think anybody wants to hear my story, but I definitely want to explain what I got going on here. Yeah, you know what I mean? But on a bigger, but like maybe get awesome. Some of your subscribers. You know what I mean? To turn and be like, oh man, this guy's doing the same thing Hank's doing. You know what I mean? So for sure. Yeah, and there's no competition. Not at all. Because we're both unique. We do it different ways. So I mean, that's what it did. Yeah, definitely. Right. Absolutely. I got my demographic, I got my friends. You just exactly. Yeah, for sure, man. Cool with me. Yeah, dude. And that's another thing that I kind of wanted to bring up and like iron out too. It's like I'm not, don't think that I'm over here, nothing like that. Like I said, I'm just trying to see it that way. Okay.
I want to help people out and do everything I can.
Because my dad, you had talked to my dad about coming on the podcast, right? And then my dad called me, and he was like, man, he was Hank really loves what you're doing. I'm like, man, whoa, Hank knows me. He's heard my stuff already. I was like, that's so cool, man. That's so cool. So I was really bummed out that I got to miss the forum, because that's when I could have met you face to face.
I was terrified at the forum.
I bet, man.
There's a lot of people there. Yeah, and I had to get up and talk in front of all those people. I was like, oh boy. But I did all right.
Yeah. That's good. It's good stuff, man.
And it came out good.
And that's great that you had done that too. You know what I mean? You had all the MSED board members there that are running events, and stuff.
I think we're going to do some more stuff.
Really?
So I'm trying now to set up a hurricane preparedness class in conjunction with the fire departments. So hopefully we'll be pushing that pretty soon, because we're getting ready to walk into hurricane season.
100%, yeah.
So want to do that, and right around October, and I was actually going to want to talk to you about this because I wanted you to help.
Okay.
I want to do a benefit concert. Big concert.
Okay.
Whole day event. And we need to find a charity to benefit.
Okay.
Something. I want to do something for kids or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about that after the cameras are done. And,
all right. Yeah.
And see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, man.
I think East County needs a good concert.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, we can do some rock music, some country music, even some Zydeco or whatever.
For sure.
Have a whole day deal.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'm for that, man, for sure. Me and my wife, we like my dad, we both love to give back to the community, what I mean? Because, it's given so much to us, so we just got done. Me and my wife just got done last night, actually, like 6 o'clock in the morning. I was up for like 26 hours straight doing project graduation.
Oh yeah.
We had a lock-in over there at Incredible Pizza for the kids and stuff. And my wife pretty much single-handedly raised over $20,000 to give to these kids.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so they walked away with, TVs and, and $50 in gift certificates or whatever in a bag, and so, and then, bikes and just all that stuff, whatever. And and there for a while, I was getting down, with all the growth coming out here and stuff like that, trying to step on the lower, or on the mom and pop shops and stuff like that,
it's rough.
And, just bring a competition out, but, and I was just like, man, these big, companies, corporations coming out here or whatever, they want to come out here, but they don't want to give back to the community and all this and everything like that. Well, boy, man, I put my foot in my mouth big time, dude, because everybody came out, man. I'm talking like Bed Bath and Beyond, Chili's right there, all of Valley Ranch, pretty much, what I'm saying, except for like the big department stores and stuff. But Academy, Buffalo Wild Wings, just all these big corporations.
Yeah, I think they'll integrate if you give them a chance.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was like, so like one of the last podcasts I had, I had to kind of make an apology. Like, man, I really apologize to you, EMC, man. I really thought that you forgot about us, but you didn't, and then of course, with the help of MSED too, they ended up giving us like $5,000, so.
Yeah, MSED's there. That's
for sure, man. 100%. Yeah, especially for the kids, especially. Stuff like that. So that's really cool. Anyway, man, I really appreciate you coming on.
All right, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll talk about that concert coming up and stuff. And then you guys heard it. It's like get ready, stay tuned, whatever. I'm going to be on his show, so I'm excited about that. That's for sure.
There you go. The whole community is going to have to put up with both of us for quite a while.
That's 100%.
So there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to touch on a couple of topics that I meant to say at the beginning, but prayers and our thoughts and prayers are going out to the people in Uvalde. As just they're going through a devastating time right now. And so I think they could use all of our thoughts and prayers on that stuff. And then also I'm dropping this. Memorial Day's coming up. You guys be safe. Don't drink and drive. They got Ubers now, they got Lyfts now and all that stuff. And, somebody out there that's somebody's kid or that's somebody's brother or somebody's sister, something like that. You guys think about that before you get behind the wheel. All right. Any last words?
Just thanks for watching, everybody. You need to subscribe to this guy's channel. He's doing good.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
He's a good community member, and I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
Can't wait to get you down to the studio, man.
no, man, 100%. I'm
I keep
looking
a fully
forward to
stocked bar down there too.
it. Right on, man. Right on. Right on. Hank Vat, guys. Hank's Think Tank is on YouTube. You have any social media or anything?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook,
Facebook?
pretty much everything. So we're on Spotify, we're
Spotify?
on Google,
Okay.
Apple, wherever you can find podcast information, just type it up, Hank's Think Tank, and you'll find us out there. We've got a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of content.
Cool.
So we've done a lot of stuff and looking forward to doing a lot more. And thanks for the support of East Montgomery County and everybody around, man. We really appreciate it because without you guys, we'd be doing it for naught.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, for sure. 100%. Okay, man. Well, like I said, like I always say at the end of these things, you guys stay tuned, stay safe, stay solid, and keep your circle small.